I'm turning my legs inward. Okay, so that actually makes it so these sticks of wood are actually resting on the feet. So that will hold them up, you know, a little bit off the ground. Not really, but a little bit. And anyway, that should be a good little system. So I'm going to get this started with a little piece of Easy Light fire starter. Well, I'm just going to let that fire starter get going there, and I think that it'll just kind of drop into there as it gets going and gets hot. It'll just kind of fall down in there all by itself. But I'm going to go ahead and fill up my pot with water. And I'm just going to see how much water I can boil with one load of firewood. And I'm also going to time it, so I don't want that too terribly full. But if I were backpacking, you know, sometimes you need quite a bit of water processed for cooking and then for drinking for the next day's hike and everything else. Okay, I think that's given us a pretty good flame there now, so I'm going to go ahead and start the timer, and we'll start on our first pot of water and try to get it boiling. Okay, so we've been going for about 8 minutes now. I just wanted you to see what the fire looks like. It's really nice flame, really burning well. So let's go ahead and put this pot back on, and we should have a boil fairly soon, I would think. I know titanium doesn't conduct heat quite as well. Now, the nice thing about using a preload system like this is I can go do some other stuff around the camp while this is working. You know, I could be pitching a tent, pitching a tarp setup, hanging my hammock. You know, there's a whole variety of things I could be working on while this is boiling. And you know, they say a watched pot will never boil, so it's always best if you can just let it do its thing. Okay, we've got a boil. So we're at 12 minutes and 22 seconds. So I'm going to call it basically 12 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and, you know, if I were backpacking right now, I'd be putting that into my camelback or into my reservoir. But since this is just a test, I'm just going to see how much water we can get through with the single load of wood, getting it all to boil. So there we start the second pot of water. Let's see how this goes. Okay, we've been running for 23 minutes and 52 seconds, and I think we have our boil here on our second pot. Whoops. Okay. So let's go ahead and refill it, and we'll try for a third pot. And let's see how this goes. Okay, we're at 37 minutes almost, and it's definitely slowed down quite a bit. So our temperature has gone down. So now I could add some wood if I wanted to, or, you know, if I'm just patient, just doing my thing, you know, I think this will boil for us. But let me just check one thing. I do have a stainless steel water bottle here. I'm just wondering if it would fit in a way that would get it closer to the heat. So here's a little stick. I'm just going to use it to rotate my arms around. That push the fuel together a little bit too. That might actually get it to burn a little bit further into. Let's see, I think I can actually slide this down right there. Let's try that. Let's see if this will finish it off for us. Okay, so we've been running a total of 47 minutes and 42 seconds. And this is just starting to boil. I'm just seeing the few little bubbles raise up. But it's moving slower and slower. I'm not even positive this will get to a rapid boil. So I think this is kind of a good chance to show everyone another advantage. Well, that is speeding up a little bit there, so I think I could actually, technically I could call that a boil. So, but what I'm going to show you now is, and we actually did this test, Perry Peacock actually started doing these tests before I had a chance to, and he was able to get a working temperature for almost an hour. And so I'll throw in some clips that I took of him doing that, and so you can check that out as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and slide a couple of sticks in. Now I'm not going to lower the fire grate, because what I want to show you is something that I don't think a lot of people realize, but this is one of the areas where the Folding Firebox Nano really excels, and that is in being able to do a very long duration burn without clogging up. So if you know you're going to be using your Nano for a long time, I would go ahead and just set it up with the fire grate in its up position, and that makes it possible for all the hot coals and all the ash just to fall down to the ground, you know, where you can bury it and take care of it for no trace. But it doesn't clog up. The stove itself does not clog up. Pretty much indefinitely, because you have so much space underneath that it's real easy to move out of the way any big hot coals or anything that you may want to kind of clear out of the stove to give it more air. Now I didn't set this up anticipating doing this, so I don't have these holes, you know, aligned in how I would have them aligned if I had planned on doing this. But as soon as these sticks warm up enough to burst into flames, there they go. So now I'll go ahead and put our water bottle back onto the fire and go ahead and bring it to the boil that we were working for. So, and this is the other thing that I actually didn't even realize until doing this test, is that you can actually set a water bottle down in this lower position. So, but this shows you how you can have, even with as much hot coals as in there is below there right now, there's still plenty of air, because nothing's getting blocked off by the hot coals or by the ash. So, and I'm going to go ahead and pour some of that into my Space Saver cup. So we can try the Space Saver cup in this lower position. It's kind of a new thing for me. I want to check it out. So that actually kind of holds it in place, especially when you have the fire grate up. And I'd probably want to rotate this because the flames are coming up right there, and I don't want these handles to get hot. But that actually holds that cup kind of in position, these legs. So that's a pretty dang cool little setup. I like that. I'm really excited about that discovery, and I'm really surprised that I hadn't realized it before now. But hey, I'll take it. That's cool. I like it a lot. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and cut to some of Perry's testing. And I wasn't even there the first day Perry was testing, so I wasn't able to get any video footage of it. But he really went through quite a few different little methods with the Nano. And really had a lot of fun with it. So anyway, I'll cut to some of that, and I will thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate the comments, the likes, the shares. They all really help a lot. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. As this thing burns in my experimenting yesterday with the 4 tries I did, was once the core burns out a little bit, you want to shove like one of the smaller pieces more to the middle just to kind of keep it. So you can pretty much burn everything down, but you can go 40 to 50 minutes in my experimentation so far. Looks like we got a good fire up the middle. Yeah, it looks like we probably have a good enough fire. We should be able to put the pot on, huh? Pot on. My old ugly, well-worn pot. Yeah, you can come this way a little bit. There you go. Let's see if we can even get this lid off here. Oh, yep, solid ice. We're frozen, so we'll be putting this thing to the test now. Okay, it's been 40 minutes. So let's see if this is still a viable cooking temperature. Just the hot coals. I can feel the heat coming off of it pretty good. And we're still... We're hot up in the double boiler. Pretty hot up top. And we're still, doesn't look like it's decreased at all. It's still got a good rolling boil. Well, we're going to just keep watching the steam through the window and see when it stops. Okay, so just the one last check on this baby. Alright, so here we are at just a little over 50 minutes from when we started actual cooking. Let me lift this off of here. So we still have a boil, but it has diminished. It's slower. The boil is slower, but we're still going, but so we're on the downhill side. We're on the downhill, yeah. It's going to go down pretty fast now. So we'll probably still be at a boil for, I'd say, what, another 5 minutes? So yeah. We might go 55 minutes. Yeah, almost a full hour. So that's pretty good. Cool. Well, that was a cool test. I would say that's a success. Yeah. I just wanted to see if we could duplicate what you did with the firebox on the Nano. Yeah, that's awesome. This is the 5th attempt here this morning that you and I started. And just a little tweak here, and this is a lot better than the others. So pretty good. Yeah, that's cool. So that is quite a bit better than the other methods you were trying yesterday. And we're still using oak that's wet. Yeah, I mean, wet oak. It was water soaked and frozen, and we just kind of split it out. So it's got a lot of moisture in it, and it still did really well. Well, we should go out and try and experiment, find a nice stick of maple, and just actually cook a meal out in the woods. Yeah, I think that's the next step right there. That's a good excuse. We have to fill our stomachs. That's the next step. Good excuse to get out. Absolutely. Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, Perry. Very good.